Okay, Jeff, we're going to introduce now Jim Kerr. You're the Education Director for the Audubon Society, Mahoning Valley.
Correct. And
you do an awful lot of bird watching. You guys meet, you have organized meetings, you discuss some of the things you see. What are some things that a beginning bird watcher would need to be able to identify the birds?
Okay. What I always like to say to anyone who's interested in birding is there are three things that are necessary. First thing is a bird guide. A guide that's going to show you pictures of the birds, okay, give you some information about the birds, and also give you a map, okay, that shows you whether that bird is going to be in the area where you're birding. Okay. Okay. The second thing you're going to need is a pair of binoculars. Most of the birding you're going to do, the birds are going to be far enough away that for you to be able to identify them, you're going to need to be able to see them close enough, and they're probably going to be too far. So you need a pair of binoculars to bring them up close enough.
And if you're birding just in your backyard, just any pair of binoculars will do. Something cheap, or if you get more advanced, as you move up in your education level with birds and you get out and about a little bit more, you can step up in cost.
Right, right. And most of us start out with inexpensive binoculars and move up in time. Okay, and the third thing you need is enthusiasm. You need that desire to go out and do do birding and to get outside and do that kind of stuff. But what more enjoyable thing is there, and what better thing is there, especially for kids, than getting outside and looking at things?
And Jeff, I've noticed here at Wild Birds Unlimited, your customers that come in with a smile on their face and they leave with a smile on their face, and they're very passionate about their hobby.
Yes, they are. That is correct. It's a hobby that people really, really get into. And they do it as simple as in their backyard or travel across the country to see birds.
Well, and Rob and I, we deal with a lot of hunters and a lot of fishermen, in which we would consider outdoorsmen, but I think all of us are bird watchers of some sort. Whether, like I said earlier, most of my bird watching was done down the barrel of a gun, looking at a duck, looking at a goose, looking at a wild turkey. But when you're sitting in the woods and you're in your tree stand, or you're out there at the lake and you're casting around a marsh area, if you get into birding and you just open your ears and open your eyes up to it, you'll realize that birds are all around us, and it can really, really make your experience in the outdoors all that much better.
That's right.
That's right. Yes. We get a lot of visitors down at the Wildlife Education Center at Beaver Creek State Park who come in who are hunters that are going from the gun to the binoculars and the camera so that they can take pictures of the things that they've been seeing, but they've been paying more attention to what they've been hunting, which is fine. But then they've changed over, and as they get older, they're looking more at birds.
Now, the Beaver Creek Wildlife Education Center, that's a neat little place where a family can come in and see. You have mounts of birds, you've got pictures, you've got a lot of the guides there, things like that, that the family can come in and basically learn real quick about, here's what we're looking for, now let's go out in the field and let's see if we can find them.
That's correct. We have over 250 mounts in displays and habitat displays at the center. Birds and mammals, all the large mammals found in Ohio and western Pennsylvania. Okay, many of the birds found in the same area. And so folks can come in and see them up close and personal, and they're not flying away as they come in. And we keep them as accurately as we can in terms of the habitat that they're found in. And so lots of people come in and ask questions, and they have the chance to get their questions answered there while the bird doesn't fly away.
And a lot of great volunteers down there that make it possible. Jeff, what are some of the other new gadgets out there that someone might find for the more advanced birder?
Well, we've got a new little device here. It's called an eye flyer, and it's great for identifying bird songs.
This looks like a little pen.
Yep. It's a barcode reader.
So if we're out in the field and I look and I say, oh, that looks like a Baltimore Oriole that I see up in that tree.
Right.
You can just swipe it.
Just scan it.
And you've got the sound for it.
Right, exactly.
That's kind of neat. What are some of the other things? I noticed there's DVDs, CDs, things like that.
We do. We have, for a beginning birder, the most difficult thing is being able to see that bird and identify it by sight. And so they need to spend some time practicing at home before they go out to actually see the birds in the wild. So by getting a DVD or CD, okay, and taking it out and playing it, or taking it to their house and playing it, that gives them the experience they need before they get out into the field actually doing this.
That's kind of neat. Now, one of the things too, I've seen these in a lot of different places before, and I have one of these at home. So there's at least 12 different birds that I know what they are, But I know them by when I hear it in the woods. Oh, that's a 3 o'clock. Right. That's a 5 o'clock. That's a 7 o'clock. And I just have to put the pictures with the sound now.
Right, and not only that, it's a great conversation piece. And you get folks coming in, friends coming in, and when it goes off, they wonder, where's the bird at? And cats are really interesting to see how they respond to it.
Well, I think everybody's a bird watcher. They just don't know it yet. And once they realize that they are, and they can enhance their skills a little bit better, they can come to a place like Wild Birds Unlimited here in Boardman, and you'll take them under your wing and show them around, show them the ropes of how to be a backyard bird watcher.
Right.
It's a lifetime experience.
It's a disease for which there is no known cure.
Well, Jeff, I learned an awful lot about attracting birds to the yard. There's one thing you need to show me, and that's our tip of the week for this week, is Jeff's going to show us how to keep those pesky squirrels out of the bird feeder. After you spend all the time and effort to fill them, the squirrels come and just destroy the feeders sometimes and steal all the food. Come and show us our tip of the week.
Okay.
This week's Outdoor Icon Tip of the Week is brought to you by DRS, Data Voice Security. Jeff, tell us how to keep them pesky squirrels out of your feeder.
Well, the first thing you got to do is make sure your feeder is at least 5 or 6 feet away from any trees so they can't jump. Then you keep them from going up your poles if you put your feeder on a pole by putting a squirrel baffle on it. Squirrel baffles are so big that the squirrel can't wrap his arms around it and pull himself up. That's one alternative. The other one is you can buy a squirrel-proof feeder, in which if the squirrel gets on there, it closes.
So the weight of a squirrel pulls down, there's nothing for him to grab.
Correct, exactly, and it doesn't close on the birds.
Okay.
And the third thing is what you got in your hand there, squirrel away, which is a very, very hot pepper. And some squirrels don't like the taste.
Squirrels are mammals, so they have nasal glands. They get in the hot pepper, makes their eyes water, makes them stay away from it. That's kind of a neat little fix-all if you can try it first, I guess.
Right, it might work for you.
Now, do you have to grease any of these things or spray them down with WD-40 or anything like that?
No, it's made to keep the squirrels off because you can't dig into it, they can't reach around it, there's no reason to spray it.
Okay. That's your tip of the week, brought to you by DRS here on the Outdoor Icon Show.
This Outdoor Icon Show factoid is brought to you by First Metropolitan Mortgage. Stay tuned, the Outdoor Icon will be right back.
I'm out here today with homeowner Corey Pate and her lovely niece Zoe to talk a little bit about the birdhouses they have and the bird feeders they have at your yard here. You got a lot of work invested and a lot of time invested in the beautiful landscaping you did just for the birds. Why spend money on birds?
We enjoy watching them and we enjoy teaching Zoe and everybody else about them, and we like seeing the birds every day.
Now I noticed you have different types of feed, different types of seed. That's to attract all the different birds?
Different birds like different seeds, and we want to attract as many as possible.
Did you notice a big difference between winter and summer?
Huge difference. Different birds migrate through and we get just different kinds, different times of year.
I noticed you have to fill the bird feeders just about every day. How much do you figure it costs you?
Well, we buy the bigger bags, so usually it's $20 to $30 a month. Usually lasts us and feeds all of our birds.
That's not bad. And between that, you get yourself a pair of good binoculars, and I see you have your bird watching digest where you can identify some of the different birds. One little neat thing that I noticed here, and a lot of bird watchers do this, is you keep a list of the birds that you've seen. How many birds have you seen in your backyard here? We
usually have about 15 different kinds, depending on the season. You know, in winter and summer we get different kinds.
And then you just check them off the list as a new one comes and add them onto the list?
We just write them down so we have a list of which ones come every year.
Now, do you notice more activity in the morning or in the evenings?
Usually about 9 o'clock we have the most in the morning.
And it really doesn't take much time and effort. I mean, your husband did a great job out here. He calls this his Bird Island, and he added the mulch and put the bird feeders up and the watering areas for them. And it's a lot of cheap activity, cheap thrill, I should say, for a homeowner that just relax, come home, look out the window, and see all the birds in the backyard.
It's been nice. We enjoy it.
So any homeowner can do this. Many websites refer to bird watching. If you don't have a field guide, you can go to websites, print off a birding list, or order your own supplies. Very economical. Get the kids involved and make it a whole family activity like the Pates do.
This Outdoor Icon Show factoid is brought to you by First Metropolitan Mortgage. Stay tuned, the Outdoor Icon will be right back.